Myself, Dr. Amit Dingrude of Bravo Robotics and Automation Limited from Pune. We are 100% subsidiary of Tata Motors. I'm here to cover the subject robotics and automation in detail. And in the beginning, I would like to discuss about mainly on the brief about the robotics and automation, and then what is the usages and the applications, and subsequently how the automation can be useful in many of the industries. We'll be covering some topics, and I hope that you will be enjoying this particular session. And in between, we'll be also having some question and answers. And at the end, I would also like you to ask me what are the questions and questions or queries you have. You can always ask at the end of the session, and I'll be very glad to answer. And let us keep this session as an interactive session as much as possible. So I'll be starting with the presentation. So can I have a presentation, please? Next. Yeah. So if you see the robot, the origin of the word robot is robota, which means the hard worker or a labor. If you see this, today the lot of pain which is being taken by most of the operators and most of the people who work in the industry. So what they need is that how to replace their pain areas and how can we improve their lifestyle. That is the main motto behind the robot. If you see that fully autonomous robot are only appeared in the second half of the 20th century, and real robots were possible in 1950s and 60s with the introduction of the transistor and integrated circuits. Next. So if you compare the robot and humans, if you see the feature of the human being, manipulation, vision, smell, taste, feel, communication, and thinking capacity. So more or less all these features are covered by the robot, except the two areas which still research is going on. It is somewhere, some areas we have successful, the word has got a success in this area as well, smell and taste, but it is not launched or it is not gone into the market in a big way. However, the remaining areas like manipulation, like we have fingers and legs, these are the manipulation of the whole body. And for the robot, these are motors and other forms of actuators. Vision is camera for the robot and eyes obviously for the human. And smell, nose, and for research is going on. And there are certain robots which has been developed currently in Japan, which has been launched recently, that also can smell different fruits and juices. There's also taste, is like a tongue for the human being, but that is still not implemented in the robotics. The feel is skin, again the skill that the robot has got tactical sensors and communication. We have a nerves, whereas the robot has wires, fibers, optics, radio, and thinking capacity. We have a brain, and most important thing in the robot is that brain of the robot is the controller, that is computers and microprocessors. Next. So if it's which the area of the robotics normally used is basically for dull, dirty, dangerous, and difficult. These are the main areas where the robotics are used. So dull is basically the one which the operator which is doing the repetitive task, the dirty task, which I'll be covering certain examples in next slides. Dangerous also a task, and difficult. Apart from that, now the new area is coming up is the space robotics and underwater robotics, robots assisting the physical challenge people, nuclear science, biomedical equipment. So these are the areas where the robotics are being used widely, and where we require a lot of robotics innovation and further, improvements to use the robotics in this particular area. And this is extremely important for us to develop as a team or as a India, because we have still not developed any development has happened in most of the areas. But these are the opportunities for the students who are interested, who are passionate in the robotics, they'll be able to work on this. Yeah, next. So area of robotics, some examples, for example, medical robot, military robot, a robotic aircraft, industrial robot, and their remote controls, and has got a helicopter. Even the Google has launched with the autonomous vehicle. So these are also form of the robots and being used. But widely, we are in India, we are using industrial robots in a big way. And that's how the industrial revolution is happening currently, and it's happened in the developed country, and it's going to happen in the non-developed country also. And that is the main focus, which is the basic need of the entire world. So most of the focus is happening on the industrial robots. Yeah, next. So why automation is required? If you see the automation, there are many things are there. A lot of people are losing their lives. They become disabled. So why the automation is required, and what is the necessity, and what benefits will get it from the automation? The most important thing is that accuracy and quality and productivity. If you see that today we have a lot of productivity issues in many areas, many industries. So productive, if I want to improve the productivity, we need to have a consistency and accuracy and a better quality. Then the process monitoring is extremely important, because at the end of the day, we need to find out how I am using my time or the industry time. So if the process time is extremely important, then less labor dependent. It should be a less labor dependent only because current, you can see the current situation. What is happening? We have losing a lot of impact on the economy, because we don't have the industries running, because we don't have the automation, scalability and flexibility, because we have to have a this is one of the very important aspect, because without flexibility, people doesn't like to have a equipment or a product same again and again. They want a multiple product in a shorter time. So for that, what can we do? We cannot have a, for example, in Tata Motors, we have a Indica line. This cannot be run. We cannot keep the Indica model for long time. We need to have a different model in a shortest time. So that is a flexibility is extremely important. And of course, as per the market requirements, scalability is also important. Integration approach is one of the main point. Reduce the risk, continuity and tireless of machines, because at the end of the day, the person can work as per the ILO standard also. He can work for maximum 6 hours. Beyond 6 hours, he becomes tired and his efficiency goes down. Then cost reduction is another aspect. We had to have a very huge cost reduction compared to the why the Chinese components are becoming very popular, and they can sell it across the world only because of the cost. And productivity, as I mentioned, and efficiency is also important. Less need for the governance, and compliance and security. These are the also important factors why automation is required. And finally, address the workplace for health and safety of the human being, and also for the industry. And that is going to be a major factor going forward. Now, today's situation also, whenever we have a automation in certain areas, we'll be covering a lot of safety for the human being. Yeah, next. So carrying forward the benefits and disadvantage of automation. Everything has got an advantage and disadvantage. Now, if you see the benefits or the advantage of the robotics or automation is increased throughput and productivity. That's what we discussed earlier. The productivity, it covers the quality and quantity. Of course, there is an improved quality and increased predictability of quality. Robustness, that is extremely consistency in the processes, and flexibility in the processes. You need to have a multiple processes required for multiple product on the same line, so that you reduce the the manpower as well as the area required for producing multiple products. Then increase consistency of output, reduce direct human labor cost and expenses. These are the many benefits are there, but these are the major benefits which has been highlighted here. However, there are certain disadvantages. there's always a question mark comes, what happens to development cost? Today, to develop the indigenous robot is very, very expensive. And we need to have a lot of investment to be given, or capital has to be given for the R&D. And subsequently, the infrastructure has to be made for producing the robots. That is one area. Second one is a very, very high initial cost. For example, if you want to go for the automation, always there is a resistance from everybody that we need to have a high cost for implementing it. Maybe the robot may be costing between 6 lakhs to maybe anywhere in 20 lakhs for certain payload capacity. But where the people always think that why should I use the robot, because the cost is very high, because they have to pay at a time. Whereas a lot of people will be available for doing the similar activity, which is maybe costing per person around 20,000 rupees. That becomes a very, very difficult, and that is why the initial cost of the capital investment is extremely high for the robotics and automation. However, the payback period for this kind of activity is much shorter, and the advantages are so much more, that we already discussed why automation is required. And person has to find out which is beneficial, whether the payback period is much better or the quality is better, and if I'm getting a better productivity, why not go for the automation? Next. Now, if you see the global market of the robot, the robotics market has been strong, shown a very strong growth in the developed countries, and expected to continue this rapid growth driven by the growing Asian market. So today, if you see by the price wise, or you can say the value wise, it is grown almost 17% is expected. Sorry, it has gone from 14 to 19 by 16%, and is expected to grow by 17% CAGR. That means almost 147 billion US dollar could be possible by 2024. Today we are at 68 million US billion dollar, and which is going to multiply by almost 3 times. And this is going to be a big jump is going to happen across the world. In terms of the numbers also, today we have by last year it is almost 5 lakhs of robots were produced, industrial robot, and is expected almost 12 lakhs robots will get produced by 2024 in a year. So China is going to be a largest single market going forward. In the last 5 years, if you see, the China has grown in multifolds. The Japanese is the second largest market for the industrial robot, and remaining Asia expected to be a major driver for the growth of the robotics, like Malaysia, Thailand, Indonesia, and India. So if you see, the future for the robotics is going to be a very bright, though it is earlier it was thought that the developed country only will continue the robotic, but now the non-developed, or you can say the people who are on the path of the development, they are also looking for a lot of robotics, because they can realize what is the advantage of the robotics. Today, if you see that China has got a maximum population, still they have got a maximum robots are being used, industrial robots are being used in China, because that is the manufacturing is their hub, and they are very, very powerful in the manufacturing, and that is why they could curtail down the time and also the cost, and that is why their productivity is extremely high. And considering all these things, it looks like the growth for the robotics is going to be huge. And we are only talking here, these numbers are only talked about industrial robot, not the service robots are different. And special robot like medical robots or any other robots, those numbers are quite different. I think I'll be covering this in the subsequent slides. Next. So if you see the IFR, International Federation of Robotics, that year 2018, that's the first time it is crossed 4 lakhs units. There's 4 lakh robots in a year has been produced and installed and commissioned in different parts of the world. So it was almost 6% growth. And 2019 compared to the 2019 to 22, there's a 12% increase possible, and that will go almost 584,000 units are going to go, that is almost 6 lakhs units are going to be there. So there's almost 12% of the growth by 2022. Even after this pandemic situation, by 22, it is expected that growth will be 12%, which is quite a big number. Next. So robotic growth in Asian market is also quite a huge, and the key driving industries are basically automotive, electronics, and metals. But as far as the growth in the number-wise growth is concerned in Asia, there are, if you see between Asia, Americas, and Africa, and Europe, basically Asian market is growing in a big way. There are almost 420 numbers, 420,000 robots are as expected only in Asia. Whereas within Asia also, Singapore is going to be a major driver for the robotics. And as far as the collaborative industrial robots are concerned, these are still niche area. We don't have that much of numbers as far as the collaborative robots are concerned. Yeah, next. So technological development expanding in the robotic adoption. Today we have a more intelligence component like smart grippers. Smart gripper is really one of the new innovation has been created, which is an extended arm of the robot and which can be used for multiple applications. Then there's a greater connectivity like plug and play interface and then cloud computing. These are the better connectivities there, which is giving a lot of opportunity for the robotics, and there's a easier to use today. Most of the time you don't find you need to do the separate programming and coding. You can run the robot by offline programming. Sometimes you have to just drag the the robot arm and then bring it to that particular point, and you can also take the hands of the robot in your and just move the robot yourself, and all the programming is happening automatically. So this is the today's condition. So what is happening, what is going to happen for tomorrow? Tomorrow is that it will be basically a learn by trial and error. So you have to have just get this is what is being done. You are showing the activities, and then robot will capture that by vision system, and the programming can be done. There is self-optimization. You may taken a long path for doing the programming, but this can automatically do the self-optimization, will be done automatically by the robot by computing. And there's a communication with the other machines to improve the entire process. Basically, it can communicate with any other machines like ROS, robotic optimization, robotic operating systems. So these are the new softwares which are getting developed and which will directly communicate with the different equipment. There is also a possibility that new business model could be robot as service. Nobody will buy because of the cost, no initial investment. Nobody will like to buy the robot, but they will look whether we can supply the robot, and then this robot can perform the specific applications. This could be going to be a model going forward. Today, we also get earlier you must have heard that a lot of people when they join the industry, they are always a permanent people in the industry, especially the workers. But nowadays you find that all the workers have been replaced by the contractors, the contract workers. So these contract workers, this is becoming more popular in all the industries. Similarly, the robots, they may not buy the robot, but they will ask for the robots as a service, and based on per day or per piece or per year, based on different models, these services can be given by the robots. Going forward, if you see how to measure the robot density in a particular country. So there is some unit is there, how to measure the number of robots in that particular country, that there is against 10,000 operator, how many robots are working in that particular country. That is the measurement of the robots used in that particular country. So against 10,000 operators, how many robots are being used? And based on all this, the numbers have been indicated here. So average in the world, average number of robots are used are almost 99 numbers against 10,000 operator. Whereas the maximum numbers are being used in Europe and then the America and now the Asia. So if you see the Europe against 10,000 operator, 114 robots are used on an average, whereas in America it is almost 99 and the Asia is now 91. So 91 major contribution is obviously coming from Korea, Singapore and China. Whereas in India, if you see the against 10,000 operator, in 2014, we had only 2 robots against 10,000 operator in 2014. But it is increased in 2018 about 4 numbers. So 4 numbers are working in 2018. Compared to the other countries like South Korea, they have a 700 robots already installed and commissioned against 10,000 operators in 2018, whereas Singapore is almost 660 and Japan is 310. And China is growing very fast, but they have currently reached up to 99, 95 to 99 in that range. But China is going very, very fast in the industrial robotics. What is the key issues affecting the competitiveness is basically a low quality, then lack of accuracy, labor shock. Mainly there's a possibility of either the people are not ready to come, people leave the places, they want to go in a different jobs. Then there's no guarantee that people will be available, that kind of skill sets are available. That is the big challenges which MSME people are facing. And there is no integrated controls. So that is what is affecting the competitiveness in the industries. And this is what is forcing companies or industries, even the countries, to adopt the robots in a big way. Next. So short term, there's a because of this current situation and the last year market, there's a very short term volatility was there, but future for the robots is going to be a very, very bright. Today, the automotive industries are going through a different phase. Earlier, we had a industrial combustion engines. Now it is going for electrical vehicle. So the whole scenario, whole structure is getting changed. That is why the industry is going through that phase. And there's also declining smartphone sales. Political headwinds are also there. So considering all these things, there's a issue was there. Temporary issue is there to reduce the number of robots, and the volumes has been drastically reduced in last 1 year. And there could be some issue this year because of the COVID situation. However, tomorrow there will be a lot of flexibility required in the manufacturing. That is why, as I earlier mentioned, people are looking continuous change. Whether you take a mobile, you take a car, you take any other product, you need to have a different product. Everybody would like to have a unique features in a particular product. So that is the flexibility is extremely important. Then geographic time bomb is also important. Emerging and rapidly growing market segments, and business and technological innovation. For example, MSME people, they would like to increase their productivity with the less manpower, with the additional better quality to compete with the world class quality. These are the different aspects. That's what people are looking for, and many people are looking for the robot mainly because of the shortage of the manpower nowadays. Considering the today's situation, manpower is going to be a big challenge, and getting the right skilled people is also a big challenge. Next. So as far as the professional service robots are concerned, earlier whatever we discussed is mainly these are the robots related to the industrial robots, purely industrial application robot. When we talk about the service robot, there is also growth in 2019 almost by 37%. and in 22 it is expected almost 45% of CAGR. And if you see that the numbers, which is the scale wise, I'm saying that 37%, but if you see the number wise, is almost 33% has already we have achieved, or the world has achieved 33% growth, and in 22 it is expected 41% in terms of the total unit sales. And the major industries in this area for service sector is logistics, is one of the biggest area. Then second area is the field industries and medical industries. So medical industries and field industries is the next area which is going to come. And finally, the defense. Defense is also one of the biggest area is expected in this as far as the service robotics is concerned. Now today, if you see the logistics, wherever you go in the warehouses and all, you need to have some different kind of a logistic. Otherwise, there's a lot of sometimes the perishable things are there. Sometimes you need to, there's expiry dates are there. All these things are a part of the logistics, food industry and all. Whereas similarly in the medical sector as well, there's again an expiry date, and then the medical is going to be a different medicals are required. It could be in a Ayurveda, or it could be allopathy or homeopathy. Similarly, in the fields, there's people are not working on the fields area, because most of the people are coming to the developed cities, and then they want to work, whereas the fields are needs a separate innovation and usage of the robot, which is going to fetch us for the bigger economy and bigger support to the country, and of course the defense for security of the country. So these are the different areas which is going to go in a big way, and this is what exactly people can see, that these are the only areas which is possible now to grow in a much bigger way, and which is a need also for any country. Whereas as far as India is concerned, the similar things you can see in the same areas, logistics, also in the medical and the field, as well as defense. Next. Continuing further, the AGVs, that is auto-guided vehicle, in factories, warehouses, logistics, and also in hospitals. So this is also growing in a big way. Almost 111,000 units deployed in 2018, almost 60% growth compared to the 2017. And out of that, 7,700 units were in the manufacturing, and remaining one were in the warehouses, logistics centers, and hospitals. And 19, it was almost 176,000 units were sold, and 22 is expected 712,000 units, almost 59% growth, average growth is expected. And it is in the same areas, like again in the logistics and defense, and also in the medical sector. So these are the areas which is going to grow for the AGVs. AGVs mainly is a part of the robotics. Maybe you can differentiate between the robot and the AGV, but it's more or less now become a part of the robotics, integral part of the robotics. So the AGVs market is going to go in a very big way in India as well. Next. There's also strong growth expected in the medical and agriculture, as I mentioned earlier. And this growth, if you see the number wise, 2018 it was 50%, almost 5,000 units, and 22 is expected almost 19,700 units as far as the medical robots are concerned. And in India, so you must have heard that a lot of robots are coming in India, even for knee operations or any other activities which is happening in India as well in the medical robot. And agriculture wise concerned, I think in India we have a huge scope, because we are probably the largest agriculture opportunities are there. And as far as the numbers are concerned, 2018 it was only 480 units were there, and 19 it has increased to almost double, 720 units, and expected in 22 is almost 2,400. So almost 50% CAGR is expected. So these are the areas which I personally feel is going to rise in a big way. and medical and agriculture, especially in India, also is going to grow in a big way. Only thing is that we need to have a lot of innovation required in the agriculture area. Next. There's a very thin line between industrial robot and the service robot. We spoke about the industrial robot, the numbers, how it is increasing, how is the market, and as far as the service robots are concerned, how it can be used, and what is the numbers. So service robots, you must have seen some videos in the past, recent past, that it is used in the hotels also for serving the tea, coffee, but whereas uh, industrial robot, you already know that a lot of robots are being used across different kinds of industries, right from small industries to the OEMs. So depending on its application, whether it's the same unit, whether it could be industrial robot also can be used for the service robot, or even the service robot also can be used in the industrial robot. But the main thing is that if when you use both the robot in the different areas, there are certain norms are there, but these norms can be certainly changed, and the industrial robot can be used into the service robot. There's a there's a concept change, that new applications is emerging. For example, how can I use the robot with the operator, or how can the robot can assist to anybody for the servicing, whether it could be a safety, security, it could be also doing some hoteling work. All these things can, the robot can work together with the operators or any person. Only thing is that we need to change the concept. Then there's an innovative business process are happening to make optimal use of collaborative robot. Collaborative robot, this precisely the one which I mentioned about, that how can the robot work together with the person, and that currently in India nobody is making those kind of a robot, but this is a lot of research is going on how to create a collaborative robot, so that the robot can together work with the operator, and this safety is taken at most, is a most important thing in the collaborative robot. Then artificial intelligence and machine learning and deep learning, which enables robot to sense and respond to their environment. And finally, the robots are increasingly supporting human beings both at work and in the private lives. Next. Now, coming to the Bravo robotics and automation, I'll give my background here myself. When I started my career as a GET in telco in 1991. So when we after joining telco, I used to always feel that there should be some automation should be required, because everything is done by the operators, and you can see a lot of pains are there for the operator. People have got back pain. Sometimes while in the welding section, a lot of sparks are coming to the eyes. There are a lot of injuries were happening. It is so-called, looks to be a inhuman operation, and which is happening in the not only in the weld shop but also in the press shop. Sometimes, yeah, I've seen certain small scale industries, lot of fingers has gone for the operators, and these are the different reasons. I thought that definitely we should look for the automation in this sector. So when I started my career, that time it was the first was the robotic line was Safari line, and subsequently I was selected for the Indica line, and then Indica we started from right from scratch, and we made the first Indica line having the capacity of robot 110 robots in one body shop, and having a cycle time of 105 seconds. So you can imagine one car was coming out, getting rolled out in 105 seconds, that is less than 2 minutes. So that is a huge automation, and we could able to achieve that 105 seconds. In fact, we could achieve lesser than 105 seconds cycle time. Subsequently, we launched the new line, that is the Vista and Manza. You must have seen that the new model when we launched in 2007. That time the line which was created was having 354 robots, and cycle time was 54 seconds. It was less than 1 minute. Earlier it was 2 minutes, less than 2 minutes, and now it is, we created the line for less than 1 minute, which has really given a big boost for the automation. And not only for automation, the the productivity and the quality was much better compared to the earlier. So we could keep on improving the quality and productivity. So, so when we launched in 95 the first robot, that time it was a dream for us that we should create a robot. So what has happened is that in 2000, there's TAL was created, the Tata Automation Limited was created by then chairman Mr. Ratan Tata. There are two divisions of Tata Motors came together. There is growth division where they used to manufacture all the handling systems, conveyors and all, and there's a machine tool division. These two divisions came together and the TAL was got formed in 2000. And in 2015, in TAL, we created a robotics and automation business, a separate business. And first robot was created in 2016. And we have showcased to this our then vice chairman of Tata Motors and chairman of TAL, Mr. Ravi Kant. And you can see the picture there. The robot is giving the bouquet to Mr. Ravi Kant. So that was the first robot as a prototype we created, and we started with a very young team, hardly 2-3 members in that group, and we created that first robot, and we showcased that robot in Make in India in 2016 in Mumbai, and that has given a big boost for us because everybody was, especially the small scale industry, they are looking for such kind of a robot which can be easily installed, which is easily available, which is also can say easily programmable. So this was the requirement from the MSME sector, and we really got an excellent response from the MSME. That is the reason we decided to launch the robot in 2017 April, and we launched the first two robots, 2 kg payload capacity and 10 kg payload capacity in 2017 April. Subsequently, in 2018, the TAL got merged back into Tata Motors, and we have the Tata Motors has created a separate company focusing mainly on the robotics and automation only in 2019 October, and that's how the Bravo has been formed in 2019 October. And now we are a 100% subsidiary of Tata Motors and belonging to working mainly on the robotics and automation. That's how the BRAL has started, or the journey is right from 2015. But as a BRAL focusing mainly on the robotics and automation, we are the first company in India. We are the first company who has made the articulated robot and commercialized this robot. And the journey of the revolution has started from 2017 when we launched the first two robots. Next. So why we launched this robot? Because when we were talking to tier 1, tier 2 suppliers, we realized that what is their pain areas. When we made the Indigo and subsequent model, when we stood, though our line was having a excellent capacity, or you can say the lot of automation, but the people who are supplying the components to that line they did not have so much of automation. So when we went and spoke to them, why cannot you have a automation? The only pain area was they used to say that is first thing is that there is a spare part availability. Even if I take a robot, because those days nobody was there in India who was manufacturing the robot, at least having a lot of knowledge in the robots in 95, 96. So whenever they used to get a robot, they had to get a robot either from Japanese robot or maybe a German robot or European robot. In that case, the pain area was availability of the spares. If something goes wrong with the robot, then who will pay? First is, of course, the initial cost. But if the companies are ready to pay for the initial cost, the second most important point was availability of spares. Then how to use the robot, because there are different skill sets were required, different programming skill sets were required, and nobody was, though there's in college, they did not have that kind of a programming teaching in the robotics. So the skill sets were not available, and the service turnaround time. Sometimes the robot has gone under breakdown. The line is to get stopped, and they have to wait for the expert person to come and repair it. And then finally, the total cost of the ownership. The total cost of ownership means the cost of the spare parts, cost of the service. All this put together is called cost of ownership. That also is very high. And then the price is to come. The price, even if some people, the profit-making companies wanted to invest in the robotic, the price was not the criteria for them. The price was coming almost at the fifth series. Series wise, if you see, there is a fifth or sixth number. But the major important part was that the serviceability and cost of ownership. These are the major critical points for them. So that is why we decided how can we address those issues so that MSME people also can go for the automation. That is the reason we came out with a different idea. All put together is a different idea of Bravo. We created a robot having the 5 axis and 750 to 800 millimeter reach and having a 10 kg payload capacity. So the question comes, why we created this? As per the ILO, that is International Labor Organization standard, the operator can lift up to maximum 10 kg for doing the operation for 6 hours, 6 to 8 hours. And the maximum arm length could be between 700 to 800 millimeter each, because based on the height of the person. And finally, we have decided for human being, there are multiple axes, including the fingers of the hand. But we thought that maximum 4 to 5 axes are much more than sufficient for carrying out multiple applications or operations. That is the reason we created a 5-axis robot to start with, 10 kg payload capacity and having 750 millimeter reach. That was the story behind creating the first robot of 10 kg payload capacity. Then finally, when we made the first thing, all designing, manufacturing, we have made in-house, and it started with a very, very young team. Right from fresh from the college, and we started this is within the Tata Group. It is like a startup company for Tata Group, and finally we launched it, and it's now one of the best affordable robot in that class, and having the ownership cost is less, almost 20 to 30% cheaper than any other robot. Next. As I mentioned that Bravo robots offer the best-in-class value proposition, and it has got a we also did a first completely indigenous controller we had developed in-house, including the programming and controller development has happened in-house. That is the team has created the controller, and it is also having a different models we have created, right from 6 kg payload capacity, 10 kg payload capacity, and now recently we launched 12 kg and 20 and 30 kg payload capacity. And that is having a from 12 kg payload capacity onwards, we have a servo driven robot, and it has got a different controller. We are having a different controller for that, and but the robots are much higher speed and has got a can say better accuracy and better repeatability compared to the 10 kg payload capacity, where that robot was mainly used by the stepper driven motor, and it has got a lesser speed and lesser accuracy. It has got 200 microns accuracy, whereas the 12 kg onwards the accuracy is between 50 to 70 microns. And now our idea is that we want to have the further payload capacity up to 50 kg payload, so that we can increase the capacity of the robot and reach of the robot, which can be used for different applications. Next. So the journey, as I said, we started from 2014. We created the first prototype in our company. We developed our 2015. We created a completely indigenous controller in 2015, and 2016 we showcased that in Make in India. 2016 we also got required certification, where we can sell this robot within India and outside India. There's CE and IP certification. 2017 we launched the robot in 2 kg and 10 kg and 2 kg. In March 18 we also have been awarded for the Excellence Quality Brand Award, and 2019 we have launched 12 kg to 30 kg, 12, 20 and 30 kg payload capacity with a servo drive. Next. In the factory automation solutions, because only robot nobody will buy, they would like to take the solution along with the robots. So we always give the solution, and we always give the complete turnkey solution to the customer. So if you see that our offerings, basically robot, our own robot, and we also give the complete, um, uh, the bought out items are sometimes like AGVs, which we don't have. We bring it together and we do the complete integration with our robot, or sometimes if the robots are required other than our robot, maybe other make robot, or because of the capacity of the payload capacity, other robots needs to be used. We buy that and then we integrate the whole thing together. But we give normally the complete turnkey solution right from the layout till the implementation and usage and training to their operators in the industry. And this is based on our earlier, you can say, experience, and the experience which is there right from beginning, almost 40 years of experience within Tata Group. Because Tata Motors, we used to make complete everything in-house in the beginning, and when the TAL was made, we used to give the solutions to other than Tata Group industry also. So that experience we had, and based on that we created the robot. Then we created the integration. We still can integrate all the different kinds of equipment together, and we have created different applications, including the assembly, testing, handling, the machine tending or press tending, inspection, deburring, transfer system, ASRS. All these activities we have gone through, and now we are giving the solutions to a different industry. It's not only to automobile industry, but also we can give the solutions to all across different industries in India. Next. So factory automation solutions, you can see some of the pictures what we have provided as of today. The robotic manufacturing line, we have given the complete integration for the automobile industry. There's a general industry. We also have handling different kinds of big handling equipments. Also for railways, aerospace. We also created jigs and fixtures, for required for the automation, mainly for railways. There's a bogie, or you can say complete aircraft, different parts of the aircraft tooling. We also give the complete fixtures for bus manufacturing, and there's a lot of other general equipment. General industries require different kinds of fixtures and jigs and fixtures that we give it, and we also supply these jigs and fixtures not only for Indian market, but now we started supplying to outside India as well. Then there's a material handling, which is our earlier captive division, and it was right coming from our earlier experience that we are continuing. But most of the things currently we are not doing it. We have offloaded this job to other vendors, and they do the job, and we do the only assembly and integration currently. Next. So our business model is having a three pillars. One is that first pillar is we have our own robotics and application, which is our own robots, whatever we develop. Second pillar is factory automation and smart manufacturing, where we can integrate different fixtures, different robots, different equipments. All these things can. Not only that, we also have a IoT, AI, artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning. All these things comes into factory automation. And finally, we have a service AMC and spares. That is basically we have taken certain factories and we are running those factories. For example, in a modern coach factory in Raebareli, they used to produce the bogies for the railways. So those railways bogies are there. They had almost 10 robots in a line, but they don't know how to install it or how to commission those robots and how to handle those robots. So we have installed that line, or we can refurbish that line completely. And now we are manufacturing 4 bogies per shift every day, and it is on eight bogies on per day basis, two shift basis. And this we are only manufacturing it, and we get the payment based on the how much we produce per month. So this is a pay on production. So this model we are running. Apart from that, we have a AMC where we have supplied the robot and complete equipment. Our job is to give them the services that we are continuing. And the spare parts also is a separate area and division within the company where we supply all the spares for all the equipment. Our major focus industries are automotive, castings, forgings, FMCG, pharmaceutical, and plastics, electronics, aerospace, general industry, and also the construction equipment. And major target customers are, or the target customers are small, medium, and large scale industries. So we supply almost all industries, and not only, as I mentioned, not only automobile, but across other industries as well. We also have a BRAL operation, that is Bravo Robotics and Bravo Robotics and Automation Limited operations in NCR. We have a head office in Pune, and we have a regional office in NCR as well as in Chennai. And we have some local engineers in different parts of India. Next. Next. So our aim is to go in a big way and do a lot of R&D and go for a new product. And our idea is to how can we create a new product, but simultaneously also optimize the current products and entering into the new segments. For example, our currently we are working on the gantry systems, which is a cantilever gantry, or it could be based on the area gantry. There's a AGV or a AMR, the auto-guided vehicle or autonomous moving robot. This is also what we are working on. ASRS, Delta robot, and Scala robot. This is currently our focus is right now. We have a good area, the shop floor and R&D sector, where we do the upgradation of the current robotic. For example, we have, what are the controller we have? We are the only company now developing the ROS robotic operating system in India, and the team is working on that. And we are also creating a lot of IoT solutions and artificial intelligence solutions in R&D with the existing products. And finally, we want to serve not only in the industries, but also going forward, we wanted to enter into the service industries as well. Apart from that, we are collaborating and supporting to the startup company. There are certain engineers who pass out from the colleges and schools and institutes. They start their own and with their own idea. So one of the area or startup company called Bandicoot Scavenging Robot. This is one of the very interesting, very young students. They started this company in Kerala, and those people, those students have said that they would like to have some industrial partner. So we have partnering them. So they have done the design, but we have optimized that, and we have given our experience in that, and we have created this robot, and now we are manufacturing robot for them. This robot is the first robot in the world which is doing the manual scavenging operation, is replaced by the robot. This is the basic idea is that in Kerala, there are certain people have died in a very short time in the manholes, and the Kerala government has given them the, given them the challenge to make the robot and how to clean the manholes, and that's how this team has created that robot. And then subsequently we supporting them for design and manufacturing. But this robot now is launched. Almost 50 robots are working across India, and it has been a lot of awards also has been received for this, and including Prime Minister has seen that. And recently Sitaraman, Finance Chief Minister, she said everywhere in India this robot should be used, because on an average in a week's time 4 to 5 people are dying only in the manhole because of the gases, and because of the lot of issues are coming for the people who enter into the manholes. You must have seen the people who go, they cannot really they are not even at home also, they are not been allowed to come in the home. They have been quarantined almost for 4 to 5 days before they enter into their own home. So such kind of problems are there. So this is a very good innovation. We are also supporting for fluid robotics. We are working together with them. This robot goes under through the pipeline of the sewage pipeline, and this robot can detect the cracks. It can also map the complete pipeline layout in any city, anywhere. So you have to just put the robot inside the pipeline, and this will actually make the complete layout on your CAD data. And also it can detect wherever the cracks are there. So you can exactly pinpoint where the cracks are there, and the person who is repair person is that he can go exactly to that position and remove he can dig out and then repair the pipeline. So that is one of the very good examples. So we are trying to find out how can Bandicoot and fluid robotics we can club it together. So we are working with the team, which it's like these are the startup companies, but they are really a great innovation. Finally, there's a trash can robotics where the wet trash as well as dry trash are separated out, and these two things are separated by the robot itself. And from the wet trash, the fertilizers are made, and from the dry trash, there's a cardboards and all of it, which can be used for different applications. So this is also one of the great innovation. And this all these three areas is started by the very young team, including our Bravo team also is extremely young team, because nobody has got any experience. They hardly have 1 or 2 years of experience. With this kind of a team, the Bravo has started, and similarly these things these three companies also started with a very young team. And finally, we are also working together with the robotics applications for current situation, like COVID situation. So we have startup companies from Kerala. They have tied up with us for the partnership. So we are supporting them for developing different application. We had a long discussion and webinar with the Kerala startup unit last 2 weeks back. So we have got a lot of opportunities, and many students would like to start their own and support to get some applications for the current situation, and we are supporting them. Next. So in a short time of span, BRAL has become the supplier of choice for automation and robotics for industry leaders. So we have given a lot of solutions and services in automotive, FMCG, aerospace and defense, and industrials, as well as in the education and academia. So we have covered wide spectrum with a very short time, having the experience of our own robot, and we have given excellent services or some unique solutions we are given to those industries. Next. We also received quite a good prestigious awards. Starting from 2015, we got a Best Technology Award. Make in India Award we got in 2016. 18, we got this Quality Brand Award. And the most prestigious award, we feel proud that our name has been included in 30 robots to be watched out in IFR, International Federation of Robotics. That's one of the very proud moment for the entire team. And in 2018, we also received Industrial Excellence Award and Best Product Innovation Award in 2018 from Machine Tools. Another prestigious award, or we are feel very proud to receive this award, is Tata Innovista Award, which is basically a big competition happens across all the Tata Group industries across the world, and we have been awarded for Best Product Innovation Award. And Automation Expo, again we received the Make in India Award, and finally from ASSOCHAM Emerging Technology Award. So these are the this awards has really given a big boost for the entire team, very young team, and we are almost 100 numbers, the total employee strength, and out of that the average is only 28. So you can imagine we have a very young team, and out of that we also have a good gender diversity, almost 30 to 35%. The girls are there who are working from in the sales department up to production area. So they are in across all the divisions, and they are also giving a lot of support to develop this Bravo robotics and automation. And going forward, we are also looking for good, innovative, and passionate people in this area. Next. So our motto also is to how to bridge the gap between the industry and the academia, because that is what we are doing it from right from beginning. Our Tatas are doing right from beginning, and our aim is also how can we support academia and then bring them so that they are industry ready or future ready for the industries. Yeah, next. So the ideal candidate for any industrial person will look whether he knows the programming, whether he knows knowledge in the automation, can he does the fault diagnose, all this, the simulation, sensor technology, does he understand? If it is available or if it is known, then it's much easier for any industries to adopt, and the training required to give that employee is much less, so that he is readily available for giving some assignment. Next. So we have created some center of excellence for automation and robotics, and we have introduced this kind of labs, especially for the for the academia. And it's good that a lot of academia and also universities and colleges, they have joined us, and a lot of our labs are so installed and commissioned across India. And we are looking forward whether we can install in further areas, so that each and every industry has got a Make in India robot, and they can study and they can further improve their own product, because finally it's a country's product. It's, though it is produced by us, but it's a country's product, and we all should be proud for this particular product, and then further improve this product and go in the bigger way, as in India as well as in abroad. Next. So the Center of Excellence Automation and Robotics, which is the standard program we have created, and there's a lot of training we give it, and it could be a mechanical, electronics, robots, research, and technical assistance is also given. And we have a specialized team which can train the faculties and then to students as well. And now going forward, with the current situation, we are also trying to conduct online trainings in the robotics. Those who has got the our cells or our robots, we can also trying to find out how we can train them online. And this is a continuous process. And we recently also created a robotic cells models, where we can supply the model on rental basis as well. Next. So this is a glimpse of Center of Excellence for Automation and Robotics. What and all we cover. We also have including 3D printer. There's some robotic research. What are the drives, motors, controllers? Everything has been covered, including vacuum, pneumatics, hydraulics. All these things are covered depending on which module the college selects. Based on that, we give complete solution, and then create excellence, including the layout is again a turnkey solution which has been given by us. Next. So this is one of the example, for example, which we can create, and inclusive the furnitures, how it should look like, what should be the size, and everything that information we also give in case it is required. Next. Yeah, this is only a top view. Next. The educational options, as I said, we have a option one where we call it a mobile cart. So this having a robot on the cart, which can move from one place to another place, because our robot is work directly on the 3-phase, and then immediately can start it, plug and play kind of a thing. It has got a pick and place and path tracing or application, and also the color sensing application. We also have a vision-based software which can be installed, and then we give the problem statement to the students so they can work on different applications. Next. So RoboViz is this we call it a RoboViz. It's option one, where we use a 10 kg payload capacity with controller and teach pendant, and there's a cart chassis with the gripper assembly and palletizing and part tracing application, and of course the system integration and installation commissioning. This is what it covers, the option one, and this is a more or less very popular option in the most of the engineering colleges. Next. The option two also is a more or less same, but we use a 10 kg payload capacity with the teach pendant controller. Gripper unit is there, and then basically it's ball matrix and whiteboard marker unit is there. So it can be used for different application. But in this particular option, this particular application has been considered, which has got a pick and place and part tracing application and system integration. Of course, each option can be changed as per the if the colleges or the students can change it, they can change it. But this is a basic knowledge is been given in this area. Next. So option 3 has got another option where basically a color sensor, light source, sorting basket assembly, wireless LAN router, and pick and place application with color sensor. So these are different compared to the other two options. So this option is also available. So we can also mix and match, options to create another option. But currently, these are our standard options, which we normally give it to the industries or sorry, the institutes. It could be engineering or it could be even universities. And sometimes there are private companies or small scale companies are there who are setting up the training cells. They also buy such kind of models or options. Next. So here again, similar to that, this color sorting basket assembly and then vision sensor with lenses and vision software, we can place an inspection application. So this is what we cover in this particular application. For example, you can also use this for doing for playing and creating some entertainment with this kind of a robot. So these applications and options are there. So the idea is that we have created different application and then different how to integrate a different equipment along with the robot. That's an idea. But somebody wants to have all the applications in one, that also could be possible. But depending on what is the requirement of that particular institute. Yeah, next. The specifications of the robot, as I already mentioned, 10 kg, 750 millimeter is a reach. Number of axes are 5. The robot weight itself is 95 kg and having the articulated arm, and rest of the things are there. And repeatability is almost 200 microns, and it can be mounted on floor or on the ceiling as well. It can run up to 50 degrees centigrade, and basically it is. So it has got a digital I/O, as spare digital I/O is also there, input-output card, and controller weight is almost 45 kg. So with this, this standard robot is used for each and every option. But we also have a MATLAB and other things what is required by the institute. We also have this center of excellence and other benefits, like we provide we completely give the complete technical knowledge information, and also a lot of guidance to the faculties. We set up the complete line in the robotics and automation lab. We do that, and we have a 1-year technical assistance continuously available. We also sign up with industries and academia, so that we have a continuous ongoing relation. And depending on how much support we require from the industry, we keep on giving it. We also give a lot of different problem statement to the students, and if required, we also can conduct some kind of test for the students in case the colleges are interested in. And of course, there's a lot of expert guidance there, and we also give a lot of information what is happening in the country as well as in the outside India, in the world, in the robotics field. So this kind of information we keep on giving it. We can also give free lectures to the students and those who are interested in the robotics area. Next. So we also, as I mentioned, we are launching very soon on the training programs on robotics and automation, online training. And we are currently available on website, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram. So you can join those groups, and you can connect to us on Bravo link, and probably can keep on getting the information what is happening in Bravo as well as what is the next coming up. And apart from that, we also conduct some contest for the students and for the professionals. So you can also participate. You don't have to register something, because you can keep on getting this kind of information. And you can also participate. During the last 2 times, we have already created a lot of contests during the COVID time. So with this, I wish all of you best of luck, and thank you very much. And